Thank you for joining me, Glenna Rashipura, on NMH at 1, where we highlight the news making waves in Namibia and beyond, ranging from current affairs, community stories, sports, and economic news. Coming up in this broadcast, Nangombe contradicts Parliament on health sector crisis. Criminals loot billions from Namibia. Roads Authority defends Zhong Mei tender award. You can catch all these stories coming up after this. Getting into our midday news update, the 33rd Heroes Day commemoration that was scheduled to be held at Omuthia, Oshikoto region has been moved to take place in Windhoek. The Ministry of Information announced that the change of venue is necessitated by the state visit to Namibia by Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel Bermudez, who will be President Hage Geingoob's guest of honor at this year's commemoration, the Ministry Executive Director Adrian Mathe said. Visual News highlights local stories from across Namibia right after the break. To stay with NMH at 1.
Welcome to Active Kids, a daily TV show that sparks creativity, learning, and fun for young minds. With exciting activities and lessons, Active Kids inspires curiosity and a love for learning.
New face to the 115.
The perfect mix of play and education. Don't miss out on the fun. Tune into Active Kids on NTV every weekday at 10 o'clock and let the adventure begin.
Let's get into our visual news segment. Artist Bananashe Kupe says the artist industry is not enjoying the necessary attention it should get from the central government. Let's take a look.
Even if you see them on newspapers or on TV, they are only building schools. They are not building studios and build where artists can also create their things. We don't have an office in Namibia. As artists, we don't have a place where we can come together and talk about our creativeness. But people, they use our music in their cars, they use our music on their TV and all that. They are robbing us. Actually, they should be arrested. So we need police. Police only collect other things, but they don't collect what people are robbing the creatives. So now the other thing I want to say is the national fund. Where does this fund come from? Where is the budget come from for annual budget of this country? Is it just coming from heaven or is it coming from somewhere? Because we don't know where this fund comes. Where do they collect this money to put together for the nation? Does it come from our national resources? And which national resources fund this fund? And how much also come from all the mines, the fish, everything we have? That is ours, God has given us. It's not for the other countries. The other countries are protecting their national resources. Look what Russia is doing. They are controlling their country.
The National Planning Commission Director General Obeth Kanjothe says Namibians must be careful not to chase away investors by introducing policy changes that could dissuade investors from putting their money in Namibia.
Policy change has to protect the future for the longest, which we have depended on investors. That array of group of people with money that risk it down holes and up the mountains and valleys, and now the sun, the wind, and the water. And I plead, can we protect these? Not to say we cannot, but we, the government and its people, must approach the change in policy and how we go about it, considering how far we got without putting a cent and what we got, and maturely mimic examples of other important lessons in the world, just so that we don't abruptly disturb and destroy what we have. That relationship would continually play an important role going forward. It is the time, in my view, to start maturely beginning to probe that environment in lieu for change, so that the majority Namibians begin to enjoy more benefits, begin to enjoy more management, but to be abrupt, emotive, without care, we may find ourselves on the wrong side of the divide. It's just a caution.
After the break, the Namibian Sun leads us into the newspaper review segment. Getting into the newspaper review segment, starting off with the Namibian Sun's front page. Opposition activist Michael Amushelelo's application to appeal against a magistrate's court decision to refuse him bail was rejected yesterday to the charging of co-accused Dimbulukeni Nuyoma. Judges Naomi Shivute and Philanda Christian did not provide reasons for the ruling. This after Amushelelo, the economic commissar for the Namibia Economic Freedom Fighters, was arrested on Independence Day this year during a protest march to raise awareness about youth unemployment in Namibia. Now Amushelelo's co-accused Nuyoma and Member of Parliament Ina Hengari were earlier granted bail. Now, on page 3, the Roads Authority says it will complete construction work on the new Hosea Kutako International Airport Road by November 2024. The project, which is valued at $949 million, will give road users access to the airport via a dual carriageway. The project received a further boost, with contractors having been granted access to farmland through which the road is envisaged to pass. RA CEO Conrad Lutombi said he also briefly mentioned the new Rehoboth Access Road, which will give road users entering from the south access to the A1 dual carriageway without having to enter Windhoek. Construction on the airport road started in March 2020 and will employ 300 people. The project is financed through a $1 billion grant from China. Now on to the Republicans' front page. Former Fisheries Minister Bernard Esau, who has been deserted by his lawyer in the fish road saga, says government must pay for his new legal representative because he was charged in his capacity as minister. Esau resigned on the 13th of November 2019 and was arrested 10 days later as the fallout from the fishing quota bribery saga intensified. On page 3, the Roads Authority has defended a decision to award a lucrative road upgrade and construction project to Chinese firm Zhong Mei Engineering Group, which allegedly pays no taxes in Namibia. The company is currently embroiled in a tax scandal with the Namibia Revenue Authority amid claims that it has not been in good standing as far as its taxes are concerned. Explaining the choice to award USACO's Karibib Road bid to Zhong Mei, the RA said the company met all the requirements. The bid evaluation and subsequent appointment of the bidder was conducted based on Section 52 of the Public Procurement Act and the requirements as outlined in the bidding document. Bidders were allowed to raise objections to the awarding of the bid, and only one objection was raised, the RA said. On its front page, the Allgemeine Zeitung highlights that Hyphen Hydrogen Energy today announced the signing of a partnership agreement with ILF Consulting Engineers, a leading independent engineering and consulting firm, to support the delivery of its groundbreaking green hydrogen project. On page 2, around 2 months ago, 16 people died from food poisoning in Kavango East, many of them children. The rest of the family is still trying to make ends meet. We continue with our newspaper review after the break.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
We continue with our newspaper review, starting off with the Namibian's front page that reports that Namibia loses an average of $4.6 billion annually as a result of money laundering, bribery, and tax evasion through illicit financial flows, according to a report by the think tank Global Financial Integrity. This is as the Bank of Namibia announced the successful conclusion of a pilot project focused on defining, estimating, and sharing data regarding IFFs from Namibia. A report to this effect will soon be tabled to a cabinet, and once approved, the calculation of estimated IFFs in Namibia will be disclosed, Bond spokesperson Kadembire Dembruka said. On page 3, the Roads Authority warned the public to stop vandalizing road traffic signs or face criminal charges. This comes after it was observed that some road signs across the country have been vandalized to the extent that they can no longer convey the intended message to road users. RA spokesperson Helene Philemon said vandalism of road signs can significantly impact road safety. When road signs are damaged or removed, drivers may be left without crucial information about road conditions, speed limits, turns, hazards, and other important instructions. Philemon said this can lead to confusion, increased risk of accidents, and even traffic congestion. She said, thus, we would like to appeal to the public to refrain from vandalizing road signs, as these acts may lead to fatal accidents. Now, the New Era's lead story reports that 75% or over $5 billion worth of tenders awarded by the Central Procurement Board of Namibia went to 100% Namibian-owned companies in the past 6 years. In total, the CPBN says it has disbursed about $6.7 billion worth of bids during the period in question. Additionally, $1.6 billion worth of bids went to international companies, while $160 million has gone into restricted bidding, the board revealed over the weekend during a 2-day information sharing session for journalists at a local resort outside Okahanja. According to CPBN Procurement Administration Manager Simbolile Sinvula, the criteria for the open national bidding process is modified to enable the participation of local enterprises in the competition. Now, on page 3, the overall water supply situation remains a major concern in many areas of the country due to poor rainfall received for the season. As such, most water catchment areas have already dried up due to insufficient water inflow. According to the Agriculture Ministry Executive Director Diakupi Ngitwamata, in a recent publication titled Crop Prospects, Food Security and Drought Situation Report, July 2023, the water supply situation in the Maheke region remains unresolved in some areas. The region has a number of broken boreholes, especially in the northern side of the region, ASEP, Talismanes, Oshinene, and Epukiro, due to wear and tear, leaving both human and livestock in critical water shortages, Ngitwamata said. Now on to Market Watch. The International Energy Agency said it had revised upwards its forecast for global oil demand growth in 2023 as demand is scaling record highs. World oil demand already hit a record 103 million barrels per day in June and August and could see yet another peak, the Paris-based IEA said in its monthly report. For 2023 as a whole, global oil demand is set to expand by 2.2 million barrels per day to 102.2 million barrels per day, it said. Now, Bank Windhoek reaches out to northern SMEs. An update on this story coming up after the break.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Getting into our economic news, Bank Windhoek's Small and Medium Enterprises Division recently hosted an SME information session in Ondangwa and Oshakati in collaboration with the Namibia Chamber of Commerce and Industry Northern Office. Bank Windhoek's Manager of Emerging SMEs, Genevieve Swart, said that the aim of these sessions was to actively engage the SMEs through information sharing and by providing a platform to the SMEs for sharing their challenges and identifying opportunities that they are faced whilst running successful businesses. The Ondangwa session saw 26 entrepreneurs, while the Oshakati session hosted 42 entrepreneurs. The bank's SME team was joined by the Ondangwa and Oshakati branch staff who presented the bank's products and services. Let's now take a look at our economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades against the British pound at 24.33, against the euro at 20.95, against the US dollar at 19.17, 2 Namibian dollars and 63 cents gets you 1 Chinese yuan. On the NSX, all major stocks remained the same. Now, Trasco Group holdings did go down at 15%, while overall index also went down at 1.49%. On the commodities market, all major commodities went down except for copper. Brent crude oil trading at 0.51%, going for $85.83 per barrel. We return with news from Africa after this short break.
We are so excited to be kickstarting your morning with entertainment.
Everything was happening during this past weekend.
Yes.
Exciting news.
Wow, no, she was killing it already.
In my opinion, I don't see anything wrong with him serving the full term.
As well as keeping you informed on the issues that you need to know happening in and around our country.
Let's get into our news from across the continent. President Cyril Ramaphosa has authorized a special investigating unit probe into alleged corruption networks involving 1 billion rands at Tembisa Hospital, reports News 24. In 2021, whistleblower Mbambita Diokaran raised the alarm over suspicious transactions. She was killed 3 weeks after filing her report. The scandal involves irregularities in procurement processes, which officials allegedly ignoring discrepancies in bid documents to ensure contracts were awarded. Among those implicated is Tembisa Hospital tender figure Hangwani Morgan Mumwela, who is related to Ramaphosa. Mumwela and his cousin reportedly secured millions in contracts from the hospital and other facilities. The president denies knowledge of Mumwela's business dealings. Several officials implicated have resigned or been suspended. A murder trial related to Diokaran's killing is ongoing, and separate corruption investigations are being conducted by the Hawks. After this short break, we get into your international news. Now, Russian airstrikes hit two western regions of Ukraine bordering NATO member Poland and other areas on Tuesday, killing 3 people and wounding more than a dozen, Ukrainian officials said. Now, local media said the attacks were the largest air assault on the Lviv region since the Russian invasion in February 2022. The fatalities were reported in the northwestern region of Lyon. Officials said an industrial enterprise in the regional capital Lutsk was struck in the overnight attack. Several people were also hospitalized, Governor Yurik Puyalyakyo said. Now, 15 people were also wounded in the Lviv region. Governor Maxim Koziatsky said 6 missiles damaged dozens of buildings and a kindergarten playground in and around the regional capital. Koziatsky said the youngest victim was 10 years old. Both Volyn and Lviv border NATO member Poland and are hundreds of miles from the front line where Ukraine's military is fending off Russian troops in the nearly 18-month-old war. Now, after the break, we get into your local and international sports news.
Good evening and welcome to Sunset News.
Dutch stays in list A in his speech, rate in taxes, and how much.
After the break, we take a look at the sports.
We bring you
Economic indicators, tomorrow's weather, and sports. I am Aina Raiza Kweyong.
Now let's take a look at our local sports news. Brave Warriors coach Colin Benjamin says his decision to recall retired Brave Warriors captain and current African Stars Football Club midfielder Ronald Kashiere was motivated by the player's discipline and his determination to stay fit. Now, the Namibian karate team left over the weekend for the 2023 Cadets Junior and Senior African Karate Championships in Casablanca, Morocco. The competition is taking place from the 17th to the 20th of August. Simon Strom's men and women's teams dominated the Nedbank Windhoek Pedal Power Race Series team trials race in Windhoek last Sunday. A total of 27 women and 40 male cyclists competed. Now, after this short break, we get into your international sports news. Now, Manchester United wrote their luck to start the Premier League season with a victory as Rafael Varane's header and a 1-0 win over Wolves on Monday. Sia Kolosi's inclusion in the Springbok World Cup squad announced last week was already confirmation that the speculation is over and the next step of seeing him back in his familiar green and gold number 6 jersey is imminent. It is just a question of when. Now, Athletic Madrid striker Memphis Depay scored with a stunning long-range strike in the second half to help secure a 3-1 home win over promoted Granada in their La Liga opener on Monday. Now, after the break, we get into the news highlights from today's broadcast.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraifa. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
The Agenda is a weekly national affairs interview program hosted every Sunday by Namibian Sun editor Toivon Jabela, featuring a panel of high-profile newsmakers, analysts and experts. The Agenda aims to reach high-end news consumers seeking informed understanding of national issues. This show is broadcasted on NTV, 1up2.com and the Namibia Media Holdings Facebook platform. The Agenda focuses on interviews where we put the nation in the hot seat. Contact Agenda at synergy.com.na to get your product and service in the hot seat. The Agenda, focused on today's conversation.
You're watching NMH at 1, and if you've just joined us, here are the news highlights from today's broadcast. President Cyril Ramaphosa has authorized a special investigating unit probe into alleged corruption networks involving 1 billion rands at Tembisa Hospital, reports News 24. Now, Russian airstrikes hit two western regions of Ukraine bordering NATO member Poland and other areas on Tuesday, killing 3 people and wounding more than a dozen, Ukrainian officials have said. Now, Brave Warriors coach Colin Benjamin says his decision to recall retired Brave Warriors captain and current African Stars Football Club midfielder Ronald Kashiere was motivated by the player's discipline and his determination to stay fit. Those have been your highlights.